Oh, this isn't fun at all.
No.
It just isn't.
No.
The Steelers lost. What was the score? They finished counting it up yet?
I think just now it's 38. It was 38-3, the worst loss in Mike Tomlin's era as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and believe it or not, I think it was even uglier than what the score.
Yeah, I was going to say Cam Hayward just now in there came up with much more colorful language for it than loss.
A lot of
asking and everything else, and even that's kind of gentle here because what the Bills did. He's Chris Halicke, by the way, and I'm Dejan Kovacevic. We're from DK Pittsburgh Sports. We're in Orchard Park, New York. This is the Steelers postgame video, which I eventually get around to sharing with you. When you're talking about an ass kicking, you're talking about, like, it's not just on a scoreboard. It's not just how easy the Bills make. They didn't make their touchdowns look easy. They actually were easy. Yeah. And they didn't make defending the Steelers look easy. It actually was easy, other than the stuff that Kenny Pickett was able to do between the 20s. And on top of that, though, Chris, this is the part that there was some nasty, physical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills are, should we just say it? I mean, I know nobody turns this in to hear anything about the Bills, but that team is loaded.
Yeah, they are. They were without Tremaine Edmonds. They're without Jordan Poyer. They're without. I could just.
Oh, the list was really long.
Yeah,
especially on defense. Yeah,
and it's just they still just flat out dominated the game and
every single component of it. Yeah. Even when they screwed up, like we're standing in the end zone.
Yeah.
Where the Bills started out at the 2-yard line, and you're thinking, "Oh, this is a pretty good start for Pittsburgh."
Yeah, they fumbled the opening kickoff.
Look at this! Here you go, and then bang! There goes 98 yards.
Yeah,
just like that. I'm torn between wanting to be fair to the Bills and trying to keep in the context that a lot of these patterns for the Steelers are familiar.
Yes,
and that I think is the part that hurts the most.
Yeah, I mean now. Even with a healthy secondary, this still would have been a slaughter based off of. I asked Trey Norwood about the third down play, that 98-yard touchdown, and he just put it on the details. Been hearing about the details for weeks now, and they're still not ironed out. How long is it going to take to iron out the details so you don't get your butt kicked? Against an AFC opponent.
But see, right, like Norwood had an awkward turn there, and I thought Levi Wallace could have stuck with his guy a little bit better too. I wouldn't let Levi off there. But then there's another play, and this one's coming in this direction, where Minka's all over the dude, right? And he's like this, and he's on his arm, and it didn't matter. They scored anyway. It's like that's when you have to understand that there's a balance here between cutting up the Steelers and understanding who they faced and where they faced them.
Yeah, and it's funny that we're how many minutes into this, and we haven't even talked about Kenny Pickett's first start.
Now, you know what? We'll do that right after this. Welcome back. Trying to find, I don't know, do we even have an obligation to find anything positive here? I mean, I thought Kenny played really, really well.
Yeah, I thought he did.
I know that the people who are just going to be pounding their fists into cement walls right now, probably aren't going to agree, but what are you going to do? He was accurate. He was aggressive. He wasn't perfect.
No, he definitely made some rookie mistakes. The interception was not a great throw.
He didn't see the guy coming underneath to Deontay there. There was Deontay was in front of a guy, but there was another guy coming underneath, and the guy coming underneath was the one that got the ball.
Yeah.
That's on him.
Yeah, it's
100%.
Yeah, it's one of those. But again, the mistakes were minimal. Especially when the Steelers had to go into pretty much all throw mode, which, by the way, they didn't. And then when they did,
eventually they did.
Eventually they did after they were down by 4 touchdowns. But but even then, Kenny was able to move the ball down the field, and they just couldn't quite get in the end zone. And now that's the first 5 games of the season, and the Steelers receiver still does not have a touchdown catch.
See, to me, bringing Kenny Pickett onto this team today is the equivalent of bringing like a really, really good point guard onto a bad basketball team. Because what ends up happening is the really, really good point guard makes terrific passes that the other people have no clue what to do with. I am not just talking about the offense. I'm talking about both ends of the court, I guess,
right.
In this case. He exposed to me a lot of how bad this team is and where.
Yes.
And it it's when you're running out of answers.
Yep.
That's when it's just bad.
Yeah,
and
we've talked about coming into the season. We talked about how the Steelers' offensive line was going to be the weakest.
Oh,
And right now,
although they weren't great today.
No, they weren't great today, but there's only one receiver right now that I see that's doing anything noteworthy, and that's George Pickens.
Of course.
Chase Claypool's been
Can't make a play to save his life. No, there's no man. Take the man back. There's no. But the ball's clanging off his hands.
I'm saying
every time I say something about it on social or wherever, I get back. Well, somebody came in from behind and did this or did. Catch the ball.
That was. I think we both got clapped back whenever we both said Deontay Johnson dropped that one catch on 4th down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry. There was more than I don't care if the ball was punched out. There was more than enough time for him to reel that in and secure that football before it got knocked out. I'm not saying the Steelers are going to start the comeback and try to actually have a chance of winning the football game there, but still a 4th down. It's in the red zone. It's a critical play. They need to get it done.
Yeah.
Deontay has to make that catch. He doesn't make the catch. He's making $18 million a year. It has to be done.
Now, and there's something that needs to be said here too regarding Najee Harris. Now, Najee's going against the defense that's unbelievable against the run. Okay. Again, two sides to all of this, right? All right. So I got the Bills out of the way here. I'm going to show you guys something here. Eddie, turn the camera around here. See this up here? That's the press box. Okay? It's an unusual one in the National Football League in that you're looking down the field. Okay? So it's a beautiful situation for us, and we were talking about it during the game, where we can see the holes. Okay? And again, the O-line wasn't great, but we saw the holes.
It's true. And Jaylen Warren
came in and assaulted those holes.
Yeah, and he ended up with, he was the leading rusher on the day for the Steelers.
Sure, and he should have been.
Right. Even in a time, some of his longest runs were in a time where the Steelers were in all-throw mode, which they really weren't. But they would have the occasional draw, and Jaylen Warren did rip off a couple of nice runs, and the questions are mounting.
There are a lot of them, and that's not to let any single facet of the defense off the hook here. I thought that other than Miles Jack, this was just a mishmash of badness.
Yeah.
Okay. Cam Hayward just said, you know how sometimes he'll do it in a self-deprecating way, like I wasn't good enough. He actually meant it today, and you know what? He was right.
Yeah, he had like one good play, and that was it.
And
it was.
That's not what you're looking for from Cam. No. Whether I'm sure he's banged up, and I know he's older and everything else here, but the standard and all that other stuff here, Minka can't allow that touchdown. As great as the pass was, as greater as the catch was, can't allow it.
Yeah. And the thing
it's
is,
just lousy. It's just lousy.
And I remember seeing on that play, Minka saw it before Allen even got rid of the ball. And
totally read it. And again, he was there.
Yeah.
But you can't. You still can't. If you're Minka Fitzpatrick, you still can't allow that ball to get caught.
Yeah.
I asked Tomlin after the game, among other things, if he would consider benching guys off the defense.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I was going to get like nothing. He gave the answer. He said, yeah, of course.
Yeah, you have to. The Steelers are 1-4. And this is
everybody's got it. Everybody, including Tomlin, needs to be on the hook here.
Yeah.
Because 1-4, not to be getting grizzly on you here, but 1-4 could be 1-6 in a great big hurry given their next couple of opponents.
Yeah, the next 3 games are not going to be fun. They got Buccaneers next week, then back-to-back road games against the Dolphins and Eagles.
We're in literal uncharted waters here.
Yeah,
and not just in the Tomlin era. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's different, man. Yeah. Sorry. We weren't exactly a ray of sunshine, but guess what? Neither is Buffalo.